Let's take a moment to explore something that might feel both familiar and radical: the way we approach problems in life. From the smallest inconveniences to the most pressing challenges, the human mind seems wired to identify problems and immediately jump into solving them. It feels like a natural response, doesn't it? Something goes wrong and we fix it. This cycle of problem solving becomes so ingrained that we rarely stop to ask, what if the way we see problems is part of the problem itself? This isn't about denying life's challenges. The car breaks down and you need to fix it. A deadline looms and you need to meet it. Life will always bring things to address. But what if the way we approach these situations is clouded by something deeper? What if the mind, especially the part we call the ego, plays a role in turning everyday events into personal struggles? Let's explore that. The ego thrives on the sense of me, the idea that there's a separate self navigating the world, making decisions, solving problems, and defending its place. The ego is a master storyteller. It loves to create narratives that position you as the fixer, the one responsible for setting things right. This can feel empowering, but it often comes with stress, frustration, and a sense of constant striving. Why? Because the ego needs problems to survive. Without problems, it has nothing to fix, no role to play. Its very identity is tied to being the one who solves, who overcomes, who proves its worth. Think about the last time you faced a challenge. Maybe it was something small, like an argument with a friend, or something bigger, like a financial setback. Did you notice how quickly the mind labeled it as a problem? Did you notice how personal it felt? Why does this always happen to me? Or if I don't fix this, things will fall apart. These kinds of thoughts can take an external event, a flat tire, a missed opportunity, and turn it into a crisis of self. The ego whispers that solving the problem isn't just about the situation. It's about proving you're capable, worthy, or in control. But let's pause for a moment. What if we didn't rush to label every situation as a problem? What if we could step back and see events for what they are? Challenges, yes, but not personal threats. What if we could approach life from a place of clarity rather than reactivity? Clarity is the key. When I talk about clarity, I'm not talking about indifference or passivity. Clarity is the ability to see a situation as it is, without adding the layers of fear, frustration, or ego-driven urgency. It's about responding to life rather than reacting to it. Clarity is what allows us to address challenges effectively, without turning them into personal dramas. Here's an example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic, running late for an important meeting. The reactive mind immediately labels this as a problem. You might feel a wave of frustration, blaming yourself, the traffic, or even the universe. You imagine the consequences, what your boss will think, how this reflects on you. The ego thrives in this moment, feeding on the sense of being wronged or out of control. But what happens if you pause and bring clarity to the situation? The reality is simple. You're in traffic and you'll arrive when you can. The rest, the blame, the worry, the story, is all added by the mind. Clarity allows you to let go of that extra noise and simply deal with what's in front of you. This doesn't mean we ignore life's challenges or fail to take action. Clarity doesn't take away your ability to respond. It enhances it. When you see a situation clearly, without the fog of ego, you can make better decisions. You can act from a place of calm and balance rather than stress and urgency. Sometimes that action might be decisive and immediate, calling for help, addressing an issue head-on. Other times, the best response might be inaction. Maybe the situation will resolve itself, or maybe stepping back is the wisest course. This is an important point. Clarity doesn't mean always doing nothing. It means responding from a place of stillness and presence, rather than from a need to prove, fix, or control. When we act from clarity, our actions are more effective because they're not driven by fear or the ego's need for validation. Now I can hear the question, isn't this just ignoring reality? Isn't life full of real problems that require real solutions? And yes, life will always bring challenges, but the shift I'm talking about is in how we relate to those challenges. When we're caught in the ego's need to solve, we often overreact, rush decisions, or create new problems in the process. Clarity allows us to address what needs addressing without adding unnecessary layers of stress or drama. Here's another way to think about it. Imagine you're holding a glass of water and someone bumps into you. If the glass is full to the brim, water will spill everywhere. But if the glass has some space, the bump won't cause much of a mess. Clarity creates that space. It allows us to handle life's bumps without spilling over into unnecessary reactivity. So how do we cultivate this clarity? It starts with awareness. When a challenge arises, pause. Notice how quickly the mind labels it as a problem. Notice the thoughts that follow: blame, fear, urgency. Then ask yourself, what's actually happening here? What needs to be done, if anything? Can I respond without turning this into a story about me? This practice doesn't mean life becomes effortless or that challenges disappear. It means we approach them differently. We stop fueling the ego's need to fix and control and instead engage with life as it unfolds. Sometimes that means acting decisively. Sometimes it means waiting. Either way, the response comes from clarity, not reactivity. When we live from this place, something shifts. Life feels lighter, freer. The endless stream of problems the ego creates begins to quiet. We realize that most of what we thought needed fixing was never broken. And when real challenges do arise, we meet them with a calm, steady presence, responding to what is rather than reacting to what we fear. In the end, clarity isn't about avoiding life or pretending everything is perfect. It's about seeing life clearly, free from the distortions of the mind. It's about recognizing that we are not separate from life, not separate from the challenges that arise. From this perspective, life stops being a series of problems to solve and becomes what it has always been: a flowing, ever-changing dance. And in that dance, we find a freedom that doesn't depend on fixing anything at all.